validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt up on the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher constantly, making my own climb. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. Whoa. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we're talking about this, that, and everything in between. I want to give a special shout out to Sarah from yesterday. She was a dating coach that's been giving a lot of dating advice over the years. And we really appreciate her coming to the show. Look forward to seeing her on the show again. We are in between guests because Friday we have Izzy All-Star coming to the show. So we want to give a special shout out to him as well. We're supposed to be doing this a nice little collaboration. I need to send him all the links. I just thought about it. I'm like, snap. I got to get him all the links. It's just like bombed on me. All right, well, I'm going to make sure I get it to him. I'm going to get it to him right after the show today. So Izzy going to have it. So Izzy, if you're watching, I got you set up for tomorrow. We've got the show scheduled for today, tomorrow, and Saturday. I do got to put up Sunday eventually, but you know, we are live. We are live 7 nights a week. We don't let the sun rise without going live. We make it a point to cover a different topic every day of the week. There are different areas of much larger topics that we do kind of tend to, but we trend towards business and finance and how politics impacts business and finance, investing and living in other areas of the world, and then coupling that with dating and social improvement, personal improvement, network improvement. Because again, I've said this before, you are the sum of and the product of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you can think of 3 people in your network, in your the 5 closest people to you that are not prioritizing the values in their lives. You can best believe that odds are you're probably not prioritizing all of the better sides of your life and working towards your agenda and your personal goals. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we start making those changes and making those improvements. If you guys, I just thought about it, we got the links in the comment section. If you guys want to jump onto the comment section, you can click those links. Special shout out to Twitch and Twitter X. I'm going to keep calling it Twitter, even though the next generation only knows it as X. I'm going to call it Twitter because that's where it started at, the little blue bird. But Twitter X, special shout out to you guys. If you guys want to click that link, you can approve the mic, approve the camera. It brings you on in real time, the same way Sarah was on the show yesterday. You guys can say what you have to say. For those who would prefer not to be on the camera, it's fine. You guys can leave your comments in the comment section, but I request that your comments be reasonably appropriate. Likewise, gotta soundbite the cup. Likewise, we have a coffee promo coming soon with our This and That coffee cup. You're gonna see branded content all over the place coming soon, so just keep an eye out for it. But this is a good cup of coffee. In addition to that, today we're supposed to be covering Malaysia because we cover a different show every week, but usually we cover it on Wednesday. Today we're covering it on Thursday, and the reason why we're covering it on Thursday was because we had a very special guest yesterday. And I gotta say, man, I resonated a lot. That was a very good conversation. If this wasn't business and she wasn't married, I would have did a follow-up. Just saying. She had the right mentality. And it's hard to find that kind of mentality, but that mentality does exist. As y'all can see, there are women of value in this country, in the United States. You can find them if you look hard enough. You just have to look hard enough. So while we're still looking, I want to give you guys the idea of, aiding your ability to get your finances to go just that much further by discussing what we're going to be doing in Malaysia. So if you guys have ever been in the position where you're feeling the squeeze, like your paychecks playing hide and seek while your dreams of comfortable families life seems to be totally out of reach, what if the math just isn't mathing? It's just not adding up, where you are in a situation where you gotta rob Peter to pay Paul, but Peter and Paul are both broke too. You just don't know what to do. If you've ever been in that situation, there's always a way out. Imagine this for just a moment. Cutting your mortgage payments in half, or even better, owning your home free and clear in a tropical paradise, all while actually building real wealth. For a growing number of Americans, this isn't a far-off fantasy. It's a smart, calculated move to a place where the numbers make sense and where family values are more than just a nice idea. They're a way of life. We're talking about a spot that might just be the best kept secret for the American expats in 2025. Now, let's be real. For so many Americans, the life script we were handed isn't quite playing out as advertised. Housing costs keep climbing relentlessly. Grocery bills practically give you a heart attack. And the checkout is the worst place to be, especially when you didn't bring as much as you thought you needed. Now you got to start putting stuff back. And those student loan payments, I am glad that I have deferred all of them indefinitely. But they feel like a second life sentence. It's a total pressure cooker. You're working harder, putting in longer hours, but the goalposts for financial security for giving your family the life you want for them seems to just keep moving further and further away. That American dream, make America great again, starting to feel like it's up for auction. And the only top 1% individuals can get that American dream bid. Hold on. Branded content, y'all. We got to show the cup. Got to show the cup. Buy your this and that coffee mug so that you can have a higher grounded cup of coffee. Product endorsements. But look, this isn't just about money, is it? Because we do talk about money, but it's also about the quality of life that constant financial stress eats away at. And we want to remove that. We want to alleviate that. It's about missing family dinners because of a second job, sacrificing weekend adventures for overtime, and that constant nagging worrying about what's next, which is definitely not the constant nagging worrying of the wife. Completely different. We had somebody on the show who talked about this was a man, he had a wife, a good wife that was willing to help him succeed. And because he was so self-conscious of failure that he kept the struggle to himself, he pretended like everything was all good when it wasn't, instead of communicating with his wife, where she could have aided him in his success. And then he ultimately ended up failing. The house that they were buying together, she got the house in the divorce. All of the stuff that he worked towards, she got that. He hit rock bottom, and all he had to do was include his wife. And the fact is that every man that is told and taught to be the breadwinner has that nagging thing in their head, that subconscious expectation that they are supposed to have it under control. Let's realize right now today, bro, most of us don't have it together. We're winging it. We're trying to make it work. And it is not a one-person operation. American living is not a one-person single income way of life for 95% of Americans. Most of us have to have a 60+ hour a week job, and some of us have to have 2 jobs to make that 70 hours a week so that we can afford to live. If we find a partner that can do the same quantity of work, where we're doing a 45-hour a week job and she's doing a 45-hour a week job, you still got 2 people, 2 incomes working together to manage the average income or the median income of about 74 to 75,000 a year, so that you're not struggling as much. Okay. And that 75,000 a year ain't enough with inflation. So when does the hustle stop and the living actually starts? When do you get to enjoy what you've worked for instead of just working endlessly? You might be looking around, seeing society feel a bit frayed, and wondering if there's a place where community ties are still strong, where raising a family feels supported, not like a constant uphill battle against the wind or a me against the world mentality. You have to put yourself in a position where at some point the grind will stop. I told you guys that the hustle culture is not a good thing to be involved in, not because it's not good to get out there and make that money. Get out there and make that money. But the hustle culture, where you spend so much of your life chasing the dollar, you chase the dollar more than you worship the Bible, and you spend your whole life trying to get the next one. Worse than Ash trying to catch all the Pokemon. You're trying to catch enough money to get the rent paid. And that's not where you're supposed to be at in life. It's relentless. This tells you that this is just how it is when you talk to other people. But this situation is not that. The price of success is not supposed to be a relentless, endless grind. You do have to grind to get there, but there is supposed to be a stopping point at some point. But what if that whole idea of success is a bit off? What if there's a place where success isn't just about the zeros in your bank account, but about how rich your experiences are and how strong your family bonds are and how much peace you feel in your heart in that environment? This constant pressure, this feeling of being squeezed from every direction is leading to a quiet kind of exodus. Americans are looking past their own borders, not just for a holiday, but for real change in how they live. They're hunting for a place where their hard-earned cash goes further, where chances to grow aren't blocked by impossible entry costs, and where the way people live aligns with a desire for a more traditional family first kind of life. And this search is taking them to some unexpected places, to countries that offer a whole different way of looking at life. So what if I told you there's a country, vibrant, modern, but also deeply rooted in tradition, where your cost of living could be a tiny fraction of what you're dealing with now? A place where English is still spoken everywhere, making it easy to settle in, where healthcare is top notch, but still affordable, and where foreigners like you and me aren't just put up with their genuinely welcomed environment. We're going there and they're not just going to tolerate us. They're genuinely going to accept us in. They're going to encourage us to get involved in what they've got going on over there. Imagine a country where savings suddenly have way more buying power, and where a stable government actually encourages expats to invest. Now, we've talked about some countries to invest in, and I can tell you that a lot of them had volatility and unstable government practices where you had to be careful about what you did and where you did it at, but you still can make a lot of money from over there. Some places like this place is a place with a stable government that also incentivizes for your ability to be financially successful. And this place isn't a made up story, because I'm talking to you guys about Malaysia. I know y'all seen that in the movies, the Mulan, the Disney classics. But for way too long, Malaysia has been this amazing gem, kind of hidden in plain sight, often overshadowed by its super busy neighbors. But in 2025, it's really starting to get noticed, especially by Americans looking for an escape route from the nonstop pressures of life back home. Tell you what, if you're trying to go somewhere where they don't extradite, you want to go some places in China, China, Hong Kong, Philippines. You want to go somewhere where they don't extradite. You want to go somewhere where they don't take court orders from America and put them into action. You want to go someplace where if your money is direct deposited in an offshore bank account, you can redirect it to that country over there, and America ain't going to be able to touch your money. I'm just trying to tell you. Until Monday, we're going to be talking about these riots, what started them, who got by them, and where they're supposed to end up. But believe you me, that it's like that for a reason. People don't just start setting their neighborhood on fire because it's a Wednesday. It's not the warm up Wednesday where we just start setting stuff on fire. It's not flaming Fridays where we start burning things down. Like they got to really be pissed off to waste their cigarette fluid to smoke their smoky smoke and decide to set a building on fire. Like that, it take a lot of ambition for that. To make a Molotov out of their favorite bottle of OE and throw it through a building window, bro. Like, y'all got to think. This country got some stuff going on. And not too many people talk about it. But here on This and That, we're going to be covering that topic on Monday. But back to Malaysia, you have to remember that Malaysia is a nation that offers an amazing package, seriously lower cost, real ways to build lasting wealth, and a culture that truly embraces family and community. Something many feel is fading in the West. I believe it is long since gone. I'm the last of a dying breed. You've seen Sarah was on here yesterday. Phenomenal woman, 41 though. She's my age. The ones that are half our age don't have the values we have. The children, not just the women, the men and women alike that are 20 and a half, 21, 22, do not have the same values that we have. So those of us that are middle-aged, between 35 and 50, that are looking for the right one, it's hard for us to find that traditional style of person in the Western culture, because the Western culture is turning into a swingers culture. It's turning into a hookup culture. It's like Sodom and Gomorrah in real life. And we can't change our society without proactively having a united front where everyone in agreement will not tolerate or condone that type of behavior. And out of 365 million people, we all can't agree on one thing or another. We've gotten as close as 72% agreements. And then 50% of the people who agreed now reject their decision. But it's too late now. He signed the paperwork. You stuck with him. But Malaysia is a place where the dream of a richer life in every single way isn't just possible, it's likely. And that's why we're seeing Americans from young families to experienced investors consciously choosing Malaysian family life. It's not just about running away from something. It's about running towards a future that's both more affordable and way more fulfilling. So, all right, let's talk these numbers, though. The kind that can seriously change your life. Ooh, excuse me. The most immediate real benefit that pulls Americans to Malaysia is the massive drop in cost of living. And we're not talking about any discount here. We're talking about a total game changer for your finances. Think about housing. Usually the biggest chunk of anyone's budget. In big US cities, a decent one-bedroom apartment can easily set you back between $3,000 to $5,000 a month in just the rent alone. Now, get this. Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia's buzzing capital, is similar, maybe even nicer, where one-bedroom place in the city can, and this is the city center, can be yours for about $300 to $800 a month. And that is the most expensive areas of the city. Just let that soak in for a minute. That's potentially a 70 to 80% cut in your household cost. Coffee cup not tall enough. If you need more space, like a 3-bedroom for a family, you can find modern, comfy options for under $1,000 for a 3-bedroom. I'm looking at places right now in America that's got 2 bedrooms for almost $2,000, $2,500 a month. It's the cheapest you can find. But here in Malaysia, that $1,000 a month is sometimes the high end. Sometimes it's a lot less in great neighborhoods. Imagine what you can do with those extra thousands of dollars each month. Save, invest, travel, or just enjoy life without that crushing mortgage or rent payment hanging over your head. Some countries have a reasonable standard of living. And while there's a upper, middle, and lower class in every country financially, for those of us that become digital nomads, where we're getting paid off of the computer, We're getting paid off of our cell phones. We're getting paid off of our day trading, where we do not have to show up and check in for an income. We can make American salaries in alternative countries. So your 40, 50,000 a year, 60,000 a year in America might not go as far as you want it to go. But if the entire standard of living is less than $1,000 a month in other countries, where you are struggling to maintain a $4,000 to $5,000 or $7,000 to $8,000 a month standard of living in America, you know that if you went to a different country where you only had to spend 1,000 out of the 7,000 that you made this month, you got a ton of money that you could be putting towards something else. And when I was telling you guys about your investment opportunities, where I explained how 40,000 a year, which is a little under $4,000 a month, being put into a stock option over the course of 5 to 10 years, especially if you're doing a dividend rotation strategy, could potentially put in your pocket over $1 million of capital. You don't have to move out of the country forever, but you definitely could bounce around from affordable country to affordable country every season, every year, especially if you're out on business. They can give you a business visa, which allows you to stay there for 12 months. And then when the visa is up, you go to another country. You can go to another cheap country where you're saving 70 to 80% of your income in each one of the cheap countries. Not only being able to travel the world and enjoy life, but before you hate the country that you're already in, you're already packing up and getting ready to go to another country. And the fact is that 5 or 10 years of that, you'd be a millionaire. And you could nest down on 15% or 18% interest of $1 million, where you'd be getting paid $150,000 a year to do nothing. All your bills are paid in advance. I'm just trying to told you. And if you found you a extremely cheap place to own in middle America, where like property costs are still under $100,000 or close to $150,000, and you own that house where property taxes is like $1,000 a year, you could be putting money aside where they're going to take that taxes, they're going to give it back to you, direct deposit it into the exact same account, and just revolving door that scenario where the house is just there. And whenever you come back, you still got a place to stay in America. This isn't about running from your problems. It's about the affordability, the ability to stretch across pretty much everything you do on a day-to-day basis. Groceries, for example, you can load up your cart with fresh local fruits and veggies, meat, and all your pantry staples for way less than you'd spend in an American supermarket. I mean, I just spent almost $100 on groceries just to get 5 or 10 items so that I could cook tomorrow for Saturday's show. It's crazy how things are. Eating out, which can feel like a luxury in the US, becomes something you can do regularly in Malaysia. So if you don't know how to cook, or if you don't have the patience to cook, you don't have to. Actually, places like Malaysia, Japan, South Korea, where, and those aren't the only places, but that's just some of the places that you could go to, where it is actually, depending on where you go and what you're eating, cheaper to eat out than it is to cook at home. And in some of those places, if you're eating out in groups, it actually becomes even cheaper. So while you're increasing your social network, you're also improving your budget, because you get to enjoy life with those individuals that come from everywhere under the sun, and you can, you know what I'm saying, expand your horizons. And if you go to some of those really, really friendly and outgoing places, you're from out of town, you become a regular at certain restaurants, The restaurant owner will be showing you all kinds of fantastic stuff that you never would have thought to eat. And then, you're able to expand your palate. So from amazing street food that just costs a couple of bucks a meal to a mid-range restaurant where a family can have a great dinner, a family, not just you, can have a great dinner for $30 to $50. The choices are endless and incredibly easy on the wallet. Think about how much stress melts away when you can take the family out for a meal without having to calculate your weekly budget. You know that most of us in America be walking through a financial opportunity. And when I call it a financial opportunity, it's a grocery store, it's the car service, it's day-to-day operations. And you're calculating, well, if I spend this much money today, I'll have X number of dollars later to go and do X number of things. The same way you guys see on the anime, right? Where they're like, oh man, I've only got like 300 won for the month. And they're like, Jesus, this is 30,000 won. That mentality. That's exactly how we feel. But they are budgeting and being frugal about it. They're setting themselves a strict, but we can't afford it. So we're like, dang, all I have is X number of dollars to my next check. But if I can get this, and this, I'll be good until my next check. And that's crazy. Stress calculating. Transportation in Malaysia offers big savings as well, because you don't always have to own your own vehicle. But if you have $5,000 or $7,000 extra per month, it isn't going to hurt you to get your own transportation. But you have to remember that you got to pay for convenience. Don't think that a car is cheaper in Asia than what it was in America, or that it's cheaper in Malaysia than what it was in America. Because if it's a $20,000 Honda Accord in America, it's a $20,000 Honda Accord in Asia. That's about it. That's it. You feel me? But cabs in certain countries, public buses, wow, yeah, you're going to be packed in like sardines in a can in certain countries. The fact is that it's very cheap. And in places like Kuala Lumpur, it's efficient in addition to being cheap. Even owning a car there is even more manageable with lower running costs. And healthcare, which is a huge source of money worries for many Americans, is a completely different story in Malaysia. So the country has a high standard of medical care with modern hospitals and well-trained doctors that often at prices that are shockingly low compared to the US, even if you're paying out of pocket, or for private healthcare insurance, is some of the best things that you can get your hands on. This isn't about cutting corners on quality. It's about getting exactly the kind of excellent care without the fear of going bankrupt over medical bills that every person looks for in America. So what's the bottom line here? Experts and expats actually living in Malaysia say a couple can live in a really comfortable life, including housing, food, utilities, transportation, and fun stuff, for around $2,500 a month, which is about $1,500 a month higher than the Philippines. And in comparison to the $800 a month to live in Nagano, Japan, it is 3 times as much as living in Japan. But for the entire standard of living being $2,500 a month, in comparison to the average rent in America being almost $5,000 a month for just the rent plus the standard of living, it is still 1/3 of the cost of living in America. Many live on less, some on more if they want a super fancy lifestyle. But the point is, a high quality of life is totally doable on a budget that would be tough to manage in most major American cities. So this isn't just about getting by, it's about thriving. It's about actually having money left over at the end of the month, money you can use to explore Malaysia, stunning natural beauties of the environment that is out there, traveling to nearby countries in Southeast Asia. It's a major travel hub, by the way. You will be able to build up your savings or invest in your kids' future. Because I be talking to parents on a regular basis. I just talked to a parent just earlier this week. She was telling me about how her kid was going to Texas to go and live with his father. Her kid wasn't doing good in school. He's got to go to summer school. She was telling me how he was grounded because he was deliberately failing in school. It's not that he's not smart. It's just that he wasn't applying himself, right? She lifted his punishment, gave him $20 and sent him to go hang out with some friends. And I told her, I said, shoot, I would have put him on payroll. He would have been working for me, because if the kid's an employee, you're a 1099 company with a W-2 for someone else. You would be able to make that money back on taxes because you paid your kid to work for you. And you can pay your kids up to $14,000 a year, tax free for the kid, but tax write-off for you. That's their allowance. So be useful. You want some money? Earn it. My kids shouldn't have to talk to me about, oh, I need X, Y, and Z, A, B, and C. I ain't buying you nothing. Don't you got a job? When's the last time you clocked in and went to work? You should be paying for your own education. Teach them financial responsibility. Special shout out to Ruderus. He said, yo, buddy, it's Ruderus. She really enjoyed you guys. Y'all were fun to be around. It was a lot of laughs and jokes. She brought me a lot of enlightenment as well. I got to check the Jets game because I know it's been a while since I've been on, but I know we got like three-day turns. So I got to see exactly how close to checkmate. I'm making it work, man. I'm making it work. As it stands right now, I'm working on, we got Izzy coming tomorrow. So All-Star Izzy is going to be here tomorrow from his podcast. So I got to give him links to the show. And then we're going to do a collaboration tomorrow. It's going to be in line with Higher Ground expectations. So we're going to be putting a lot of things up there. I noticed you must be out of school right now. So I should be seeing you more often. So that means I got to have to start making moves a lot faster on chess. But definitely, if you got something to jump in and quiz All-Star on, because he's a younger gentleman. He looks like he's about late 20s, early 30s. So, like, there's a generation gap there. But you guys, we can all collaborate on the concepts that we're going to be dealing with tomorrow. So it's going to be very encourageable that everybody dives in, especially when we have the guests come to the show, because I think that that all-inclusive experience aids in you guys' ability to enjoy an interactive podcast. And the guests that come to the podcast are able to also enjoy that interaction. Let's go ahead and see what else we got going on. Raising the bar, breaking ground. I love that. And I've been telling you, I've got it scrolling across the screen there to let y'all know that Izzy's going to be here tomorrow. So if y'all slide by tomorrow, if y'all got it. If y'all got time, slide by and throw some what's ups. Now, we're talking about saving money in Malaysia. We're talking about having the ability to have the kind of financial breathing room where the wonders for your stress, the improvement of relief that you can get from forever worrying about where your money is coming from, where your money is going. This opens up possibilities and lets you focus on what really matters, because you know that when you're stressed out, you can't think clearly. When you're stressed out, you cannot achieve as much. It's the freedom to choose how you spend your time and money instead of being stuck in a never-ending cycle of bills. This is the first big reason Americans are looking to Malaysia. And I was talking to Sarah about this yesterday because a lot of relationships, 10, 20, 30-year, 40-year relationships, People grow content with one another because they have developed a routine. They're used to having the other person there. So they don't put any effort into reminding that person how important that person is to them. And then that person, missing out on the feeling of fulfillment and validation, starts seeking that fulfillment and validation outside of the relationship. This is where infidelity starts, because if you forget to value your partner will look for that value from somewhere else. The same way if an employee is not feeling valued by the employer, the employee starts looking for another job somewhere else. Randomly out of the blue, the employee puts in their 2-week notice because they got another job, or they're rolling their hours back because they're working on another job. But if you would have known that they needed more hours, or that they needed a promotion so that they could get a larger quantity of pay for the same amount of hours, that you might have would have worked that out if that communication was there. The same thing with relationships. If we put in the effort to tell our partners that, hey, it's not what I was expecting, and we need to do something different. We need to do something different. Not you need to do something different, or I demand something different. We need to work on something different because I'm starting to feel a little bit left out in this relationship. If we have that, less relationships will have less motivation for infidelity. Doesn't mean that people won't cheat on other people, because they're people, but there's less of a motivation for it. Likewise, if you're not stressing over money, if you're not working yourself to death, you have people, whether it's a single father, whether it's the single mother, whether it's the boyfriend, whether it's the girlfriend, you have people who work 3/4 of their day and then sleep the other quarter. That's it. And on their day off, they're working half a day. That's it. They never literally stop working. So they don't remember to spend time with their partner, valuing and validating their partners. If your dollars are working harder than you are, you're able to buy more, and you're able to give a level of financial freedom to yourself that might feel more impossible in America, but it'll feel like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders, where you can actually stop. You can actually take a nap. You can get you some rest. You can build the energy to go do something fun with friends and family. And then you're not irritated and short-tempered and ready to blow your stack at the simplest of questions. Because that level of stress and frustration, it ends up becoming misdirected rage, where you lash out on the other people in your household. Some are understandable. They know that you're under a lot of pressure. So they don't, even though it hurts their feelings, they don't take it to heart and hold it against you. But months and years of having you lash out on them, even if they disregard it, there's still resentment there. Children who have angry fathers because the father has too much to handle, and they tend to snap at the kids because they're just already frustrated. And one thing that the kid is doing is like the icing on the cake, the straw that breaks the camel's back. Those kids grow up with a level of frustration towards the parents, because when the parents had little to no patience for the children, now that the children are grown, the children are reflecting that lack of patience towards the parent. You have to understand, being able to build yourself a level of peace in your personal life allows you to build a more valuable relationship with the people that you prioritize. And it's the foundation for building a richer, less burdened life. So this isn't just about saving money. It's about buying back your time and your peace of mind. Okay, so lowering your cost of living is a huge first step. But what if you could also grow your wealth at the same time? Malaysia isn't just a place to save money. It's a really promising place to make it grow, offering some interesting investment opportunities for foreigners that are often easier to get into and more favorable than many people think. This goes beyond just making your dollars last longer. It's about actively making them multiply. So one of the biggest areas for investment is real estate, as I tell you, in every country. But while some countries make it really tough for foreigners to own property, Malaysia is one of the countries that has a fairly open policy, similar to Japan, except different prices, especially for certain types of properties. So foreigners can own freehold properties. That means you own the land too, which is way different than other countries. And in many areas, the prices compared to the US are even other parts of Asia can be incredibly tempting. It ain't cheaper than Japan, though, because I'm going to tell you again, their customs is that property depreciates in value to $0, where you only end up having to pay for a 30-year-old house the taxes on the land. So depending on the zoning restrictions for an individual property, which means that you're looking for properties and then looking at the zoning costs, because you can pay the government to rezone a property, but it will take up to 5 years to rezone it. You would be able to purchase a certain quantity of land and then redevelop it, where the land would cost probably $800 worth of taxes, and then the house is $0, and then you could just flatline that bad boy and just build you an American house with Japanese, Chinese, Taiwanese accents to it, and have your own whatever, looking like those 40-story houses, or the 40-foot tall houses that you see on the movies on Netflix. Special shout out to Netflix. It's $1,500 a share. Now, imagine owning a modern condo with resort-style pools and gyms, or even a house with a yard in a great location for a price that might only cover a down payment in a competitive American market. I just want to tell you real quick, in a competitive American market, you might have to put $20,000 to $50,000 down on the house. But if you can pick up the house in its entirety for $20,000 to $50,000 in Malaysia, that's a steal. So it's not just about finding affordable places to live. It's about buying an asset that could go up in value and bring in rental income, directly adding to your wealth. So if you found yourself in a position where you were picking up multiple properties, because like in America, you could pick up one house for like $150,000. But if you could pick up 3 houses in Malaysia for $150,000, you can live in one and rent out the other 2. And the profits from the other 2 can pay for the one. And now you have no expenses, but you still have your overseas income coming in from whatever it is that you decide to keep doing online, whether you're investing, trading, or working online as a digital nomad. So beyond just buying a house, Malaysia is really rolling out the welcome mat for foreign investments in its business sector. So the government has programs to encourage new businesses. And if you've got a business idea or want to expand one you already have, Malaysia offers a great spot right in the heart of Southeast Asia, a booming market with a growing middle class setting. Now, if you want to set up a business, which is very doable here, and there are plenty of industries ready for new ideas and growth, the country's stable banking system is another plus, because providing a secure place for your financial dealings and managing your capital gives you even more peace of mind. Now, here's something that gets American investors really interested. Malaysia's territorial tax system. This is a big deal. Basically, income you earn outside of Malaysia, foreign sourced income, anything that came from not Malaysia, generally isn't taxed by the Malaysian government, even if you live there, unless it's brought into the country under very specific and changing conditions. Compare that to the US system, where you're taxed on your income worldwide, and you can see the potential benefits. Plus, Malaysia doesn't have those complicated, controlled foreign corporations or the rules that follow that. which can be a headache and a big expense for Americans doing business. Internationally, you will be able to see that there are often no capital gains taxes on many foreign investments, which is a huge win if you're looking to grow your portfolio. This friendly tax setup means more of your investment returns stay with you, helping you build wealth faster, which leads us to that discussion that we had a couple of months ago about building trust in tax-free economies. Because while they have certain countries that allows you to have non-residential trust, even if you have a residential trust, if you relocate to Malaysia and build the trust, the money that you're getting from the bank account in Malaysia will not be taxed. Then if you end up deciding to go to Japan with it, the money that is going to Malaysia that'll leave from Malaysia and go to Japan, still not taxed. So to make it easier for serious investors to stay long-term, Malaysia has specific visa programs where the premium visa program, for instance, is designed for people with a high net worth, where it offers up to 20 years of residency and, importantly, usually does not require you to spend a minimum amount of time in Malaysia. So this gives incredible flexibility to investors who might want to manage their assets in Malaysia, but still have things going on elsewhere. So while the Malaysia My Second Home, which is the MM2H program, has had some updates and now requires a pretty hefty fixed deposit, which is around $250,000, and proof of offshore income, it's still a solid option for those who qualify and are looking for a renewable 5-year residency. It often appeals to retirees and lifestyle investors, where these programs are a clear sign that Malaysia values foreign money and is willing to create ways for investors to become part of the country's economy. So when you put all these things together, accessible real estate and supportive business environment, a really advantageous tax system, and investor-friendly visa, you get a powerful engine for building wealth. So it's a setup that lets Americans not just live affordably, but also strategically grow and protect their assets. So this changes Malaysia from just a low-cost place to a live into a smart, a place to live into a smart financial move, a place where the more wealthy part of our lives can be very, very real. So it's about using the Malaysian advantage to secure your financial future and create a legacy, something that feels tougher and tougher in the high stakes, high tax environment many are trying to leave behind. So financial stability and building wealth are huge draws, no doubt. But for many Americans, especially those with families or those who want to start one, the decision to move to another country comes down to something just as important, if not more so: the quality of life and the kind of place they'll be living and raising their kids. This is where Malaysia really stands out, offering a lifestyle and a social environment that deeply connects with those looking for more traditional, family-focused ways of life. So it's what makes it an expat's dream. At the core of Malaysian society, this is a really strong emphasis on family. Traditional values like keeping the family close, respecting elders, and having strong community ties aren't just old-fashioned ideas. They're part of everyday life and culture. So this creates a supportive and nurturing atmosphere that many American expats find incredibly attractive, especially when they compare it to the more individualistic or disconnected social sense they might be leaving back in America. So if you're looking to build or raise a family, this kind of environment can feel like a safe haven and a place where family isn't an afterthought, but a central part of how society works. So the cultural norms in Malaysia often support strong family units, where Malaysian people generally are known for their warmth, hospitality, and genuine friendliness. So this isn't just a surface level politeness, it's a natural part of culture. This welcoming attitude extends to foreigners, making it easier and more pleasant to settle in, where you'll find that locals are often curious to open, happy to share their culture and learn about yours all at the same time. So, this easy connection can be especially comforting for families looking to put down roots and build a good social network. One of the really practical pulses for American families is that English is widely spoken there. While Bahasa Malaysia is the national language, English is a required subject in schools and is commonly used in business, tourism, and in the cities. This really lowers the barriers to entry, allowing expats to handle daily life from shopping and banking to dealing with official stuff pretty easily. While learning some Bahasa Malaysia is always a good idea and makes the experience richer, being able to communicate effectively in English from day one is a huge relief for many newcomers who haven't had the time to start practicing different languages. The lifestyle in Malaysia is a fantastic mix of modern comforts and rich cultural experiences, where cities like Kuala Lumpur and Penang have world-class infrastructures with modern shopping malls, tons of entertainment options, and excellent international schools. Yet, step away from the shiny skyscrapers and you're in the middle of a vibrant mix of culture. Malaysia is a multicultural nation, mainly made up of Malay, Chinese, and Indian communities, and each one adds to a unique and lively society. So you see this diversity most clearly in its incredible foods and other scenes, has a world famous fusion of flavors and its colors, festivals that happens all year round, and the peaceful mix of mystiques, temples, mosques, churches, and often standing near each other, where there isn't a great diversification of religious beliefs. For kids growing up in Malaysia, being exposed to all these cultures is an education in itself, teaching them tolerance, understanding, and giving them a global view. Safety is another top concern for families, and Malaysia generally offers a safe and stable environment. Like most countries, it is some petty crimes, but violent crime rates are relatively low, where America's violent crime rate is probably extremely high in the most unreasonable fashion, because you're looking at 4-to-1 population of Americans to Asians, and they probably have like 10 gun crimes, where maybe half of that might result in death. Where here in America, we might have had a few 100,000 gun crimes with several 100,000 deaths as I was talking about it here in America per second. So many expats say that they feel very secure living and raising their children in Malaysia, where the pace of life, especially outside the main business areas, can be more relaxed, allowing for more quality family time and less of the high stress rush that defines many Western lifestyles. For families thinking about schools, Malaysia offers a range of choices, including public schools, private schools, and their Malaysian private schools, and the numerous international schools, which is a little bit different. And the international schools follow the British, American, Australian, or international baccalaureate programs. Oh, bachelorette. I definitely said that wrong the first time. Bachelorette. I had to look at that word like that is not all right. Now, while international schools can be a significant expense, they are often still more affordable than similar private schools in the United States, and the quality is generally high. So, the country's national beauty and natural beauty also makes for fantastic lifestyles, from beautiful beaches and lush rainforests to cool highlands, where there are endless chances for weekend trips and outdoor adventures. Having nature so close by provides a healthy balance to city life and gives families countless ways to explore and bond. So basically, Malaysia offers an all around great place for families to thrive. The combination of a family focused culture, a welcoming attitude towards foreigners, easy English communication, modern conveniences, alongside rich traditions, a safe environment, and diverse educational options, making it a really compelling choice. Where it's a place where you can build a life that is not only financially sound, but also rich in experience, community, and a sense of belonging. So, this is the Malaysian family life that is drawing so many Americans in 2025. Understanding why Malaysia's lower costs, investment potential, and family friendly lifestyles are so appealing in one thing. Knowing how to actually make the move is another. Luckily, Malaysia offers several visa pathways for different types of expats, from wealth investors and retirees to digital nomads and skilled professionals. The country's visa situation is generally seen as more open and easier to navigate than many other desirable Asian countries, making the dream of relocating a real possibility. One of the best known options, especially popular with retirees and those looking to stay longer, is the Malaysian Second Home program, the MM2H, where this program gives you a renewable 5-year multi-entry visa. And the current version of MM2H requires applicants to show proof of a significant fixed deposit in the Malaysian bank, which usually is around 1 million RM, which is about 210,000 to 250,000 US dollars, depending on the currency exchange. And this provides a certain level of monthly income from outside Malaysia. Also, the MM2H participants usually need to spend at least 90 days a year in Malaysia to keep their visa. Not that hard to do. While the financial requirements are pretty substantial for those who can meet them, MM2H offers a stable long-term way to live in Malaysia, allowing them to bring their family and enjoy many residence benefits. So it's often seen as a great path for those looking to retire comfortably or set up a long-term base in Southeast Asia. Because if you're in Southeast Asia and you've got your relatively cheap place to stay in Malaysia, you can also take that and go over to Japan and monitor your business. One of the things that I understood until they've changed the policy, that any travel in Asia with a U.S. passport gives you free flights throughout the country. So once you fly there, your cost of travel is not going to be nearly as much, and you will be able to go and do what you got to do. You just got to use your U.S. passport, not your Malaysian passport. For high net individuals who want maximum flexibility, the premium visa program is an attractive option, where this program is specifically for the wealthy investors and offers a 20-year residency visa. A key benefit of the PVIP is that it typically doesn't have a minimum stay requirement in Malaysia. So investors can come and go as they please without risking their residency. This makes it perfect for those who have business interests around the world or who want to use Malaysia as a comfortable and strategic base while traveling a lot. So if you wanted to put you a safe house in a tax-free environment, you get you a PVIP for Malaysia and then travel to Japan. The financial requirements for the PVIP are higher than for the MM2H, but for those who qualify, it offers amazing long-term security and flexibility. Realizing the global trend of remote work, Malaysia has also introduced the DE Renato Nomad Pass, which is quickly becoming one of Asia's easiest and most appealing digital nomad visas, where this visa is for professionals who can work remotely for companies or clients based outside Malaysia, where it's now open to a wider range of jobs, including tech freelancers, content creators, and other independent remote workers. So if I was to bring the podcast over to Malaysia, they would fast track me into a citizenship status, which is a big plus for the DE Renato Nomad Pass, which allows pass holders to bring their immediate family, which is the spouse and the children, with them. And the program also offers perks like discounts on certain places to stay and co-working spaces, helping to build a supportive community for digital nomads. The income requirements are more modest compared to the investor visa, making it a good option for many skilled professionals looking to experience life in Malaysia while keeping their international careers. For those who've landed a job with a Malaysian company, work visas, often called employment passes, are the usual way in. These visas are tied to a specific job offer and employer. Usually, the Malaysian company sponsors the foreign employee, where there are different categories of sponsorship for the employment pass based on salary and skill level. So each one of these with its own set of requirements and benefits. You have to pick the one that relatively applies to you. So this is a common route for professionals who are moving to Malaysia for a specific job. Now, visa rules can change, so it's super important to always get the latest information from officials, Malaysian government sources, or talk to a reputable immigration lawyer or consult with any specialist in Malaysian visas. And when you think about it now, if you've got an LLC that you're operating off of or a C corporation that you're offering out of, it is a tax deduction to consult with the specialist. So while they can give you personalized advice based on your situation, you can write off that consultation on your taxes, and you'll be able to make sure that you handle the applications process correctly. So what these different options show is Malaysia's commitment to attracting a wide range of foreign talent and investments is heavily seen. Whether you're looking to retire in comfortable environments while investing serious capital, work remotely from a lively Southeast Asian hub, or just take up a local job, there's likely a visa pathway that could work for you. The accessibility of these visas is key to the reason why Malaysian standouts a whole lot more as a particularly and achievable destination for Americans looking for a new chapter abroad. So it's not just wishful thinking, it's a real plan you can put into action. So now it's only fair to paint the full picture. So no place is absolutely perfect, and moving to a new country like Malaysia included comes with its own learning curves and potential bumps in the road. So while the good stuff is really compelling, knowing about the realities helps set the right expectations. So one common thing to get used to is the bureaucracy. So while Malaysia is trying to make processes smoother, dealing with government offices or certain paperwork can sometimes take patience and persistence. So things might not always happen at the speed you're used to, and figuring out local procedures can take a bit of time. The tropical climate, meaning it's hot as fuck out there, while a big plus for many, can also be a challenge for others, where Malaysia is generally hot and humid all year round. So you do get used to it, and air conditioning is everywhere there, but the constant heat and humidity are something to think about, especially if you're used to more varied seasons. The cultural differences, though often fascinating, can also lead to misunderstandings if you don't approach them with an open mind and a willingness to learn. So while Malaysians are generally very tolerant and welcoming, there are subtle differences in communication styles, social manners, and how business is done. Taking the time to learn about local customs will go a long way in making interactions smoother. While English is widely spoken, especially in the cities, if you venture into more rural areas or talk to older folks, you might hit a language barrier if you don't speak any Bahasa Malaysia. Picking up some basic phrases is always helpful and um, definitely appreciated. And every culture is fascinated when a foreigner can speak their language fluently or proficiently. Likewise, in any developing nation that we've gone over before, including this one, while the infrastructure is excellent in major cities, you might find it various in other parts of the country. And while the cost of living is much lower, it's smart to do your homework on specific costs related to the lifestyle you want so you can create an accurate budget. Nevertheless, for most expats, these are manageable adjustments. These adjustments far outweighed by the huge benefits of life in Malaysia. So the very fact that it's still seen as a bit under the radar or a best kept secret means that while it's developing a modernizing uh, uh, environment in a expedited fashion, it still has an authenticity and a value that more crowded expats spot and have missed and feel like they have lost out on. Being ready for these minor hurdles means a smoother move and lets you fully enjoy the incredible opportunities where Malaysia is offering things that you probably take advantage of or don't get a chance to benefit from in America. So if what we've talked about today really hits home for you, if you're tired of the constant financial pressures, the feeling that you're just working to get by instead of actually thriving, and if you've ever been caught catching yourself dreaming of a life where your family can flourish in a supportive community, where your wealth can really grow, and where a richer, more fulfilling experience is actually within reach, then maybe it's time to stop dreaming and start doing some research. So Malaysia 2025 offers a powerful answer to many of the challenges Americans are facing, but it's a big move for sure. Nevertheless, the rewards can be truly life-changing. So what's your next step? Start looking into it. Really dig into the specifics of the cost of living, the investment scene, and the visa requirements that fit your situation. If any of the information that we've gone over today sparked your curiosity or answered some of your big questions, give us a thumbs up, hit that like button, make sure that you subscribe and share this information with a friend. It helps other people find this information as beneficial as you have. Make sure to subscribe to the channel's platform so that you can get any of the information that we have on Expat Life, or if you have to catch the replay video of the live video, because that is going to aid you in your ability to manifest. I see All-Star. I was just talking to y'all about, is he going to be here tomorrow? Y'all will be able to see what was I talking about just now? The information that you missed when we were covering stock tips and when we were talking about the investment opportunities, because we are about to sell International Seaway. We're about to sell International Seaway in about 2 hours. And then once we put it up for sale, we're going to start going into the next investment opportunity, because we're supposed to be talking about the next one we're buying into, because there's 2 of them that are back to back. And then we have 2 more that might be so close together that we're not going to meet the ex-dividend date for each one of them. So I'm going to be giving you the ones that are the most profitable, so that when you sell and then you buy, you will find yourself in a position buying into the one that's going to give you the most out of your dividend rotation strategy. So if you're following us in the dividend rotation strategy and you're buying in where we're buying in, and you're selling when we're selling, and you're following the madness that we're going through, 168% is likely the result. 90 to 100% in real time if we're skipping over some of the ones that we did not invest in because they were too close together and we did not have a large enough quantity of capital to hit all of them. Because you can spread your money thin, but if one's giving you more than the other and you cut your money in half, the potential of getting the maximum amount from the one that paid the most versus getting some from each is offsetting. And then since you're not going to have all of them pay back to back, you're going to deal with some that are going to because there's a 2-day layover, some that you're going to get. And then when you sell, you got to wait 2 days and you miss the buy-in for the other one. So instead of buying into something that's already crossed out the ex-dividend date, you have to move on to the next thing. So we're going to be talking about that as well coming soon. So, and these are the things that you can learn while you're out there looking for ways to find better places to live, find better places to budget. So make sure that you take a look at any of the discussions that we have on expat life, financial freedom, and the practical side of moving internationally, because we believe that sharing more insight and stories to help you and your journey to get to where you're trying to be at in life is something that is mostly encouraged by me. This is probably one of very few podcasts that is really pushing that you find a way to get to where you're trying to be at in life. And I will give you all of the tools and resources that you need to get there. And I'm not even trying to tax you for it, but you can always join the membership to get some detailed information that's not being put up on a public podcast. But most importantly, make sure that you connect with us. What's the biggest thing drawing you to think about a life abroad? Is it lower cost of living, the investment potential, wanting a different culture experience for your family, or something else entirely? Share your thoughts and your questions in the comment section below, and your journey as well as your questions make your insight really valuable to those who in this community of people are searching for something more. So why are Americans choosing Malaysian family life in 2025? The answer is pretty clear and very, very convincing. It's a strategic decision for a life that offers lower costs and the real chance for more wealth, all in a culture that genuinely values family and welcomes newcomers. So we've talked about the incredible affordability that can free you from financial stress, letting your dollars go further than you've thought possible, and seriously boosting your quality of life. We've uncovered the surprisingly strong investment opportunities from real estate business backed by a friendly tax system and stable banks offering real ways to build and protect your assets. We've highlighted the warm family first culture, how easy it is to integrate with English being widely spoken, and the rich, multicultural lifestyle that gives families a nurturing place to grow and thrive. And we've looked at the practical visa options like the MM2H and the PVIP for investors, and the accessible digital nomad pass, which makes moving to Malaysia a real doable thing. So Malaysia truly is one of the best kept secrets for American expats, but the secret's getting out, especially if you're watching this podcast. It offers a unique mix of the modern conveniences and deep-rooted traditions with economic advantages and high quality of life, all at a fraction of the cost and stress that comes with life in many parts of the United States is non-existent over in Malaysia. So it is a chance to escape the daily grind, not just for a quick getaway, but for a sustainable, enriching lifestyle. If you're looking for a fresh start, a place where financial freedom isn't just a nice phrase, but something you can actually achieve, and a welcoming, vibrant place to build your family's future, Malaysia is sending out invitations, figuratively and literally. It's an invitation to a life where you can breathe easier, live more fully, and truly build the future you've always wanted. The opportunity for a richer and more meaningful life isn't just a distant dream. For many Americans, it's becoming their new reality in Malaysia. So now that you guys have had the opportunity to slide by and take a deep dive into everything that we've got going on for Malaysia, now you guys understand that there are still more countries and cultures that we can go to where we can stretch our money a whole lot further. We can invest and build and make things grow. And there is always another way. I used to be told when I was small, way, and where there's a way, there's always another way. So you should never marry one plan. You should always have more than one plan. You should probably have more plans than there are letters in the alphabet, and make sure that you are able to flex and adapt to the situation on the fly, because as things don't go according to plan, because almost nothing goes according to plan, there is always an outcome that is satisfactory to your objectives and your agenda. And you need to make the different and shifting decisions that are possible to be made to meet that agenda. That's all I have for you guys for tonight. So with that, I will tell you, like I tell you every night, ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking you ladies to make it make sense. So ladies, please make it make sense. And fellas, we are a 75% male-driven podcast from the male perspective. One more time, special shout out to Izzy All-Star because he's going to be live tomorrow night with us. And again, special shout out to Sarah from yesterday with the dating coach, expert dating coach. And then one more time, giving it up for Ruderus and Mr. Pibbs, Mr. Satellite, Usman, Bayside, and many others that come through. Reese Martinez, Talenia, Max Opposer, Joe's father, Red Void, Omni 81, Danny Steffen. I really appreciate you guys. Special shout out to those that are watching us on Twitter, as well as those that are watching us on Twitch. I really appreciate you guys for coming to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I will see you guys tomorrow night.
Higher ground. Used to chase validation, now I validate myself. That's my personal command.